Hey guys, it's Jason with Boardgame Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Deckchairs on the Titanic. Deckchairs on the Titanic is a 2 to 4 player abstract-ish games from Silver Birch Games, and plays in about, what's it say, 15 to 30 minutes, probably accurate. And what you're doing in this is you are trying to be a deck chair attendant, and you're trying to keep your chair safe from the sinking Titanic. You know, the ship's sinking, the band's still playing. The deck chair attendant's job is to make sure those chairs are safe no matter what's happening with the boat. So that's what we're trying to do. Effectively, what that boils down to is you're moving your chairs around on this board with a little ice block, trying to get your chairs in the appropriate spots to score more points than your opponent. That's effectively it. Then once you've done that, at the end of each round, the ship is going to either move left, right, forward, backwards, diagonal. It's going to shift all the chairs again, so all your work may be for naught. So that's enough talking about it. Let's go on the table, check it out. So here's a game of deck chairs on the Titanic, all set up for 2 players. To set up, you're going to grab the appropriate board. So I have the 2-player board. You're always going to use this front, always going to use this back. There's also going to be another 2-player board for a little bit of variance that you're going to use to put the chairs on the board. So basically, on the other board is going to show the chairs, these spaces, on the spaces that I put the chair. That's going to show you how you're kind of filling out the board. All right, so what you're doing in this game is you are trying to rearrange your deck chairs to score points. If you can get your deck chair into the middle at the end of the round, after the boat sinks and all that stuff, you're going to get 4 points. If you get your deck chair in your own color, 2 points. Deck chair in your opponent's color, 1 point. Now, a couple things. There's also a deck chair attendant that will keep a chair from moving when the boat is sinking and all that kind of stuff. But we'll get to that when we get to the movement. So, let's say we're on round 2, because round 1, there's no movement. And I want to kind of show you how the movement works. So, we're starting on round 2. Because the first round, nothing crazy goes down. So, we want craziness to go down. All right. So blues first. We get 4 actions in a 2-player game. So what we're going to do is we're going to move a chair. You can move a chair orthogonally. So up, down, left, right. You can't move it diagonal. Or you can move the ice block in any direction. If it hits a chair, it moves the chair that many spaces as it was moved. So if I move the iceberg here, the chair would move 1 because the ice block moved 1. As soon as it hits something, it stops. Or I can move my deck attendant out onto any space that's unoccupied, never on my opponent's color, or never on the center square, and never on a space where my opponent's chair is. You can't go there. Anything else is fair game. All right, so blues first. Let's go ahead and do an action. So the boat's going to move backwards. So that means at the end of the round, the boat, all the pieces are going to shift 1 space backwards. So we're going to kind of be thinking about that when we're taking movements. So let's see. I think for their first action, they're going to move the ice block. So they're going to move it down 1, and that'll move that down 1. All right, done. Red, turn. They are going to, they want to stay there. Let's go ahead and move this one up. All right. Then blue's going to take another action. They're going to slide, go down 1. And then red is going to move 1. Blue is going to move 1. Red will, they're going to do the ice block. So they'll move the ice block 1 diagonally, which will boot this chair out. That ice block will stand right there. That's fine. Blue's turn. They're going to, we're pretty happy with where they are. They're not going to be able to score everything, so they are just going to take the ice block and move it this way, which will move this over there and knock them out of 2-point range. And then red will I'm just going to move this way. All right. So that's the end of the round. That's the end of the actions. I could have also moved the deck chair attendant out. I didn't want to do that. Now, what's going to happen? The boat is going to sink. What that means is all the pieces, except the ice block and the deck chair attendants, because they're going to hold on to the boat, are going to slide this way. So everything slides at the same time, so we don't really need, if it can slide, it will slide. Nothing can block. All right, and we have shifted everything. Now we're going to score points. So we'll look at the board and we're going to score points. If you're in the center, you get 4 points. So blue scores 4 points. Red, if you're on your own color, you get 2 points. So red gets 2. They get 1 for being on their opponent, so they'll get 3 points. Blue is on their own, so that's 2, 4. Oh, red gets another one. So blue gets 4 for being on their own color. And that is it. That's all the points. Now, at the end of the round, this card will go away. This card slides down. A new card comes out. And then if you had your deck chair attendants off, they would come back. First player becomes the second player in a 2-player game, so you kind of go substitute up. And then you keep playing. The board stays out like this. You keep going, keep trying to make the best of your actions, thinking about how the boat's going to move, and trying to score the most points. So that is how you play Deck Chairs on the Titanic. Let's go up the top, see what they think about it. All right, well, that was Deck Chairs on the Titanic. So this is an abstract game. We don't play a ton of abstract games here, but I do like abstract games that have a theme, and this one has a theme. It has cool art, it has nice color pop, has nice bits. Let's look at the bits right now. These are the chairs. I would have had this video done sooner, but the designer and publisher wanted to get the actual chairs so they look like deck chairs instead of just cubes. So that's why, you know, where we are right now. I don't know how well you can see that. And also this cool ice block. Not really necessary, could be a cube, but adds a little bit of flavor to it. So basically the boat hit the iceberg and then the ice block came down and is wreaking havoc with the chairs. That's kind of the theme. So yeah, what you saw in this game is how the game works. You're moving your chairs around, you have 4 actions. You're trying to move your deck chair attendant to keep chairs from moving when the ship is sinking. You're trying to move the iceberg strategically to knock a bunch of your opponent's chairs against the wall so they don't score any points. You're trying to move your chair so when the ship moves and starts sinking, your chairs will fall into the appropriate colors. Not a ton of decisions that you can take here, but the decisions are there, and it gives you something to think about. Which action do you want to take? Once you place your assistant down, you can't move it for that round. It's stuck there. So, you know, you're just trying to figure out what all you can do to score the most points possible. What I did in the overview is probably not the best. I was just kind of showing you some actions so you can see how the game works. There's actually a lot more strategy that goes into it, but I was just kind of giving you an overview. I like the board. The board is really cool. It makes up the whole boat. So you saw the main game board, but let's take a look at these a little bit. Like the art in the background is really cool. You got the band playing. You got the piano player. People sitting out on the beach or on the dock getting the sun, playing some card games. Over here you got some stairs with the pilot, or the ship captain, I guess, not the pilot. Just scoreboard. It looks really cool. Even just these two pieces together look pretty cool. So let's put that, see if you can see it. So that, like, there's the boat together without the middle board. Looks pretty neat, the art, I like it. These cards are pretty good too. They have cardinal directions so you know which way is up, because you don't want to put it this way because that would change the whole thing. So northeast, northwest, that will be facing up. Makes a little more sense there. Everything about this game is pretty cool. I think the production's good. I'm happy with the components. The rule book is easy to follow and straightforward. It shows examples of how the iceberg moves. It shows examples of the chairs. It shows example of what happened when the boat sinks. Examples of everything. And there's boards for 2, 3, and 4. There's 2 boards for each. So it's going to give you a little bit of variability. Even if you play it just twice at each player count, that's 6 different games. So that's pretty cool. So I like this game. I'm going to give it a BGM accepted seal. I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10 on BGG, which is a 3.5 out of 5 on an arbitrary rent scale. That means absolutely nothing. But I like to give it to games that I enjoy, and that's what I'm going to do. So that is Deck Chairs on the Titanic from Silver Birch Games. I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.